Welcome to Cosmos with Bailey. I'm Bailey and I'm a clairvoyant, psychic medium and spiritual healer based in New Zealand. Cosmos with Bailey is my YouTube channel where I put in a lot of my insights and healers' insights and dreams and whatnot I've been receiving. Then Love Beat is my psychic and healing business with all my services. Welcome. So today's video is going to be on Divine Feminine. Stop being a spiritual tryhard. And I'm going to explain how being a spiritual tryhard happens, and then what you sort of need to do to come back to reality a little bit and come back to who you are in the here and now as a woman. So for a very long time on the earth, and because of the old planetary era that did not have the divine feminine in it, a lot of women would go outside of themselves to connect to the divine feminine. It makes sense, right? They go outside of themselves to connect to the divine feminine. And because of the density of the earth and what we were sort of experiencing energetically, it was sort of like we maybe had to take things like ayahuasca or whatnot, or, hallucinogens, or whatever else happened, to connect into the spiritual realms, because things were very dense in the energy body. And so the divine feminine was something that was outside of ourselves. And I see this when I see a lot of people taking things like ayahuasca or psychedelics or whatnot, and then going in search of the Great Mother. What I look at from a healer's perspective when I see that is that women are trying to connect to the loving mother energy that they need to integrate into their earthly bodies. Because if you haven't grown up with a loving mother who was spiritually embodied in the divine feminine, you're not going to know how to connect to that energy and what it looks like. It makes sense. And so in today's modern world, we have a lot of women that are trying to connect to the divine feminine, but it is sort of like this odd energy that is outside of them, when really it is really inside of you. She's not in the cosmos. She is and she isn't. But because you're in the earthly realm, you need to integrate that inner mother into your body to connect to the divine feminine energy. And that happens via the womb space and inner child work. And a lot of women really over glorify and glamorize connecting and integrating the divine feminine. And when it's done in a really grounded manner, you really ground yourself properly and spiritually into the earthly realm. So there's a very, very big difference between a woman who's embodied the divine feminine versus a woman who's trying to portray the divine feminine. And there's one very big difference that I've picked up, and that's that the intuition and the spiritual insight comes from a try-hard spiritual persona in woman. And you can tell because there's almost like this masculine energy to the woman, and she's trying to force the spirituality, she's trying to force the spirit insight, she's trying to force the spirit guidance. And it comes, and you can tell in the energy of the body as well, and in the aura. And there's almost like this masculine tinge to the energy, and it's very forceful and harsh and rigid. And it's not easy and effortless. And usually there's types of costumes and whatnot, or the divine feminine says this, and it's not really being authentically you or being authentically a woman. And it is, and the same with the idea of the high priestess. We don't need high priestesses anymore, because we are evolving into a new planetary era where we can integrate the divine feminine properly as women in today's modern world. So sometimes when I think I've said this quite often, when I see a lot of personas of the goddess or whatnot, it's a very big sign to me that that woman is seeking outside of herself for the divine feminine energy. She hasn't integrated it properly. There's a very big difference. And when we are trying too hard with the divine feminine, a lot of our art and creativity is going to come, it's not going to be like super, super authentic. And sometimes we can get really, really carried away with the spiritual and trying to portray being spiritual as women, and that comes through in our art and our creativity and whatnot. And we really have to sort of let go of, this happened to me when I was making art. And I thought that I had to paint spiritual art, but I just really loved painting flowers. And I think you can see this a lot with artists and whatnot. When they're going through that spiritual phase of trying to figure out who they are, they paint a lot of overtly spiritual art that's not really getting to the essence of who they are as a soul, and you can tell that it's a little bit try hard. And we forget that art and beauty and creativity, and we can do it for beauty's sake. And we can do it for enjoyment and enjoying the beauty of colours and what it enhances to the earthly realm and what it enhances to the physical environment. Not everything has to be overtly spiritual when we are being spiritual with the divine feminine energy. And this is okay. So when the difference with the try-hard energy and then just being the flowing, effortless, authentic self is that the essence of the feminine energy actually starts to flow in the body when you let go of trying too hard, and you start really hearing and flowing with your innate connection to your own femininity and your own feminine essence, and everything slows down, and you let go of the try-hard mind and the, I have to be spiritual and this, and this, and you let go of the rigidity of the try-hard energy, which stops and hinders the flow of effortless feminine flow. And so not everything has to be spiritual, like obviously spiritual. You are a spirit in the body, and that should be enough for your feminine essence. You, as you are right now, should be enough, and you should be comfortable with that. And that's when you get that effortless feminine intuition and authenticity as well. Yeah. Beauty for beauty's sake, art, inspiration, creativity for beauty instead of overtly spiritual. When it comes to the feminine essence and masculine energy and this try-hard energy, I've seen a lot of men who are very deeply spiritual, quietly spiritual, and you would never know it. And they are not attracted or turned on by try-hard feminine spiritual energy. A lot of men who are very masculine or very connected to their masculinity and not so, they're very wary of the try-hard energy, and they don't respect it in women. A lot of very masculine men really deeply respect feminine authenticity, and that means boundaries as well, and discernment and self-respect and dignity for your feminine essence. You can't just sort of, when you've got high levels of self-respect and dignity, it is very attractive to masculine energy, spiritual masculine energy. Yes, mature. Okay, so when it comes to the divine feminine, there's a very big difference between authentic sensual energy that is just so natural and comfortable in the body as a woman versus try-hard, overt sexuality and sensual performance. You can see this a lot online when women are trying to be sensual and sexual, sensual and flirty, but it's not. There's a difference between that and having self-respect with your sensuality, and it's the energy and how it expresses in the body. Usually when there is try-hard sensual sexual energy going on, it's not coming from self-respect. There's a very big difference between self-respecting sensuality and try-hard sensuality, and that's when the divine feminine comes in. When we integrate the divine feminine, we are not so try-hard with our sensuality. We're not trying to show off our sexuality and our sensuality. We're like, no, only a certain man gets that from me, but it doesn't mean that we hide away, but it is a lot more mature in the body, and you're very, very self-respecting with it, and you enjoy it. For you as a woman, it's not for everyone else to enjoy. It's like, this is just, I'm enjoying my own energy, being in my body. It doesn't require clothing, crystals. It doesn't require oils. Like, you want to embody the sensual essence first before you go trying those things. So that's on the spirit level. And you've got to strip it back and removing the tarot cards and the crystals and the beads and the overt spiritual statues and whatnot, and just coming back to being a woman with the feminine essence. And that's when you integrate yourself into the earthly realm and start really connecting to the divine feminine. The lighting's just gone dark. I apologize for that one. Yes, what was I saying? Yeah, so with the try-hard persona, you're not really living life because you're trying so hard to be spiritual, and you're going to miss out on actually exploring the spirit in the body, exploring what you like and don't like, and what you do want to put your energy into and what you don't want to put your energy into. The authenticity when you integrate the divine feminine into the body is very unique to you, and you're going to miss out on actually enjoying yourself in the earthly realm and experiencing life and tasting and trying all these different aspects of life. And when we have that spiritual persona, you're really limiting your feminine essence and what you can do, and you're going to just sort of define yourself by this try-hard spiritual persona, and you're going to miss out on actually enjoying life and being yourself with men, with relationships. You're going to over-spiritualize men and the masculine, and you're going to over-spiritualize relationship and just not trusting your own innate intuition in relationship, and you're going to sort of try and over-apply spirituality to something that's actually just quite normal. I've seen that a lot. A lot of over-spiritualization is something that's just what everyone else experiences, trying to glorify and glamorize maybe a breakup that was, you just consciously decided to break up on amicable terms, a material way. There's a lot of, and we over-spiritualize things that we all experience. Yeah, letting go of the goddess persona and being you. So I think I said with the Great Mother and ayahuasca and whatnot, the Great Mother is not outside of you. You need to integrate that inner mother into the earthly body, and that's when you're going to ground her in. So if you go too much out here, you're going to get the try-hard persona and the try-hard starseed, light worker, whatever it is, because you're trying to prove that you're spiritual and you're not being authentic and receiving authentic intuitions about what you're here to create and be a part of and whatnot. And so, yeah, you're going to sort of miss out on actually just being yourself with nature. Grounded spirit, that's such a good one. Grounded spirituality with the divine feminine. That's what I was trying to get at. Grounded spirituality with your feminine essence. It's not something that's up here. It's in here, in the body. And when you do that, when you integrate the inner mother, and that's with inner child stuff as well. You've got to stop taking outside substances and actually do proper inner child, mother-father wounds, teen healing, maybe some past life healing, and integrate the mother energy into yourself. I'm going to tell you this right now. Integrating the inner mother grounded me exponentially into the earthly realm. She's great for business. She's great for love and life. The intuition comes from a natural connection within yourself. It's not like this otherworldly, cosmic, this and this. It's okay. this is what's happening, and it's not, you're not trying too hard, it's just effortless and easy. And so we don't need to force ourselves to go out into the cosmos as women. We bring the cosmos into us, and that's the divine feminine and the divine mother. Yes, I think I see with men, and also just people in general don't respect inauthenticity. And when you're trying too hard, people aren't going to respond well to the spiritual essence of who you are, and you're not going to. I've done this myself where I've come across a few people. I don't think you know who you are. You've got all the beads and the mandalas and whatnot, but then I look at the life force of that person, and that person looks very, very spiritually unhealthy and tired and exhausted. And so you actually do need to do proper spirit work. You can't just put the costume on, if that makes sense. You've got to work with your life force. Yeah, that's why I said coming back to childhood. Yes, so childhood is a really big one for knowing and integrating the inner mother with the inner little girl. That's a really big one. And coming back to, if you want to figure out your spiritual essence, you want to go back to childhood and what you were enjoying as a child and teen, what you were naturally doing, and integrate it into your self as a woman in today's world. So, for example, I spent a lot of time creating things as a child. I spent a lot of time alone. I read books, I wrote books, I painted, and as I got older, I did sewing and fashion design, and that's something that I sort of forgot about, and I got back into the last 3 or 4 years, and I love it, and that was something that is a part of my spirit, and what I enjoy is making my own clothing. I actually made this top a while ago. It was one of the first tops I got back into. And doing things that you naturally enjoy in the earthly realm that aren't spiritual. That's very, very important. If your whole life revolves around being spiritual, you're going to become very unrelatable and very ungrounded. And you're not going to be exciting either. You're going to miss out on enjoying your spirit as a woman. Yeah, so and what's another example for the childhood thing? I was obsessed with Teen Vogue and Vogue magazines, and I used to put them all up on my wall. And I wanted a Chanel bag ever since I can remember. And but that's not very spiritual, but that was something that I was desiring. As I remember around about the age of 12 or 13, I was looking on Trade Me for fake Louis Vuittons, but I wanted a real one. And that was me. And while I was interested in fashion, I used to watch fashion TV all the time as a child. And I love fashion, and I'm just getting back into that now, integrating it into and exploring that facet of myself as a woman today, and what I like and don't like. So, what's another example? So there was fashion design. I used to draw outfits. So I used to have a portfolio of designs as a teen. And then I was also loved interior design. So I'm going to go and do an interior design course. And so what we forget with women and the divine feminine is that we don't just have to be spiritual. We can integrate the creativity and the essence of who we are, and then work with it in the earthly realm. And fulfill ourselves with the feminine essence. We don't just have to be this one way and one way only, in a try-hard sort of way you're going to miss out on all the different aspects of who you are. I'm just going to quickly talk about past lives as well, and the reality of past lives. What we tend to do when we first become aware of past lives is that we tend to glorify and glamorize them. I did this until I started having, and I've been clearing my own past lives and integrating them. And what happens if we've had past lives in the temples or whatnot is we tend to glorify and glamorize it. And we forget that we are having a very real human experience. And what I've seen with women who have had past lives in the temples and they become aware of it, they go and reenact the high priestess or whatever, And I can just sort of tell that they probably weren't as good as they thought they were. As soon as someone tries to, but I was this, and then you probably weren't as good as you thought you were, because we were in the ego consciousness. We create these personas that I am spiritual, and it's not really being authentic. For example, I became aware that I had a past life as a high priestess in ancient Egypt. As I was clearing that past life, while it was exciting when I got ordained, I also did not really enjoy that life, and I found it rather boring. I had these very vivid memories come back, and I just thought, geez, I'm over this. And I actually went off and did other things in that life, and it was a very lonely life as well. And I was having these memories, being very envious of mothers and children, and I don't think I had children, and I just wanted to be a mom in that life, and but I didn't get that, and I focused on other things instead, and I was also very glorified and glamorized, and people didn't see the reality behind closed doors of those past lives. So whenever I see women who go gung-ho into that stuff, I just you're a person playing out a role. You're still a very real person, and we forget that we can just be ourselves with the spiritual in today's world, and it can be a lot of fun, a lot of playful, a lot of art, and a lot of creativity, and we get to just sort of let go of it all and stop trying so hard, and that's when you get the feminine flow that's very easy and effortless. You may need to do some past life clearing and healing, actually, if you feel super stuck in the try hard, because you've probably had past lives and you need to sort of let go and come back to who you are in today's world. And create something new and exciting that you haven't done before. I say, for me personally, because we've all been here quite a long time in the earthly realm, and so I was like, what do you want to do this time around? Because things are opening up. You can choose differently. You don't need to do what you've done for so long in your past lives now. And for me, there's something that's really exciting is interior design and fabric design, and that is just something that is very, very exciting for me to go into that foray, as well as maybe dabbling in some property. Okay, remember to be yourself. If you need a helping hand and you know you're aware you're sort of stuck in one way of experiencing the feminine, go see a healer or go see someone who can help open you up and integrate some more of your mature essence into the earthly realm, and you can sort of free yourself from outdated concepts of the feminine and allow yourself to be yourself this time round. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that was helpful.